Yo, what's going on, my fellow football fans? Your boy Anubis Archer is here with a brand new video for you guys today. And today, we're going to talk about Barcelona. I don't want to do a knee-jerk reaction video yesterday. I want to let everything simmer, let everything sit, let me think about that game yesterday. So we're going to talk about it. For those who don't know, I am a Barcelona fan, a Man United supporter. I think the word fan and supporter are different things. So this isn't like some way back kind of thing where it's like, oh, I got 20 freaking teams. No, I'm a Barcelona fan and someone who also who's also a supporter of United. And those are the only teams when it comes to European football that I support as well. The Barcelona women's team and Man United women's team as well. So, anyways, talk about the Real Madrid versus Barcelona game for the El Clasico. Obviously, we're gonna get the ghost goal out of the way first and the referee out of the way first. Personally, I know the first thought someone's gonna have is, oh, here we go, or the Barcelona fan complaining about the refereeing. You can complain about refereeing and still view the team's performance as bad at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. Both things can be true at the exact same time. Yes, Barcelona performed badly on defense, and yes, the referees didn't really do anything other than assist Real Madrid. Now, the first thing is the ghost goal, the goal that was, the ball clearly went over the line. You literally see the ball. There's replays that show the ball over the line. It shows the ball, on the inside of the net. And they say it wasn't. And now the argument is about goal line technology and VAR and things like that. It's a goal. That's the first thing to say. It is indeed a goal. However, I don't look at that moment as the reason why Barcelona lost. If that makes sense to you. Same thing comes to the penalty. There's people who's like, the pen that they gave for Vinny Jr. was a soft pen. It should have been a pen. And that's the same thing happened in PSG game. This PSG game, there's a pen where it's like, yeah, that's not a pen. You don't give that in these kind of situations. It doesn't matter in my opinion, because it's like, you can't be in that situation to begin with. If the pen is called, the pen is called. There's no going back unless they review it and go, all right, well, that's not actually a pen. He dived. But the way I see it is, you have to play better as a team and defensively. You can't look at the referees and just make them the excuse over and over again. Yes, the refereeing was bad in that game against PSG. Refereeing was bad in the game against Real Madrid. The refereeing definitely helped Madrid, and it definitely feeds into that thought process that La Liga and its refs favor of Real Madrid. And regardless of that, Barcelona still performed horribly when it comes to the defensive side. Regardless of what the referees were doing, regardless of what they didn't do, regardless of how badly they themselves performed, Barcelona as a team, when it comes to the defense, did not perform well at all. So here's the issue Barcelona has in general. Barcelona is a team that has a habit of getting a goal and then kind of just coasting. I don't want to call them equal to like Man United, even like under Jose Mourinho, where when he was there, Man United, they'll score and goal and just kind of just park the bus. Barcelona kind of has that mentality. You can say it's coaching, you can say it's whatever, but the mentality isn't necessarily like parking the bus. Mentality is they kind of just lose focus. Whenever Barcelona scores a goal and has a lead, they just lose focus. They're okay with having a 1-0 game. We see that when they play against lesser teams. They'll play against a lesser team than them, score one goal, and kind of just don't do anything else. And you're like, a 1-goal game against them? That's a lower tier team. Why is Barca only win by 1 goal? Because that's the mentality of the team. They score a goal. Hey, we got the lead. Let's just coast. And then inevitably they give up the lead because the defense sucks. And then they score again, and they're back into the lead. Then the other team scores again, and that's the yo-yo effect that you see in pretty much all of their games against PSG and the games against Real Madrid, including the one from last night. And it's an annoyance because it's like, what is the issue here? And the issue is obvious. The issue, and I know we're going to get to Xavi in a bit. The issue is obvious when it comes to Barcelona's lack of defense, because they're smart. In sports, teams have footage. They watch tape to see what people's weaknesses are. Everyone knows Barcelona has a weakness when it comes to their fullbacks, in particular Joao Cancelo. Personally, I like Joao Cancelo as a person, but he sucks on defense. He's a liability on defense, and teams know that. So more often than not, goals are happening near him. Generally, they're happening near him because teams know he's not focused. His man is usually going to go unmarked. And against PSG, Dembele was unmarked by Cancelo. Cancelo paying him no attention. Dembele scores. against Real Madrid, I forgot who scored for Madrid, but Cancelo was near him. He was unmarked. Still paying him no attention. Cancelo doesn't even like at no point during that game does Cancelo even look his way. His eyes is just focused elsewhere. Real Madrid passed the ball for open goal. And it's like you have to feel bad for like the rest of the team when there's just one person who's just not paying attention. He's a defensive liability. And I've seen fans say maybe they should just switch him to a left wingers if he wants to freaking, just play offense the entire time. And it's like the issue there is he's not necessarily a great winger either. Like he's effective on an offensive side. That's the thing you give Cancelo. He's a very effective offensive weapon, but he's also not necessarily fast enough and skilled enough to be an out and out starter at left wing. He's someone who you kind of play as a left wing back. You put a little higher up. Maybe you play him like, it's like if you're playing like a 4-4-2 or whatever, as your left mid, someone who you're relying on to be someone who can get some good passes in to your forwards, but also drop back and play some defense. Issue again here is he doesn't play defense. And that's, to me, is the biggest team issue when it comes to Barcelona, is you have this glaring weakness in your fullback department because Balde is injured. So that's an issue. You're not even playing Alonso at all. Alonso probably would be a better defender than Cancelo, but I'd imagine they probably prefer Cancelo when it comes to his attacking prowess more so than Alonso's attacking prowess. Personally, I'd prefer having a better defender than a better attacker when it comes to my fullbacks, but it is what it is. And it also ignites, that conversation from before the season started, where Barcelona had a very, very good chance to sign Grimaldo as a free agent. And, by all means, reports are saying that he would have said yes. But they chose to go with a loan deal on Cancelo because Barcelona's limited on money. And, you see how Grimaldo's playing with Bayer Leverkusen, and you see how Cancelo's playing out. So now we're in a situation at Barcelona where the decision has to be made on if they will or won't make Cancelo a permanent stay because he's on loan. The only thing Barcelona's playing when it comes to him is just his wages. And Juan Laporta, he wants to keep both Joaos, and it's like, I don't think keeping both is a good idea. First off, I don't think keeping Cancelo is a good idea, period. I think you should just let Cancelo go back to Man City and call it a day. Get someone else to play in that position. The question will be who do you get? Again, Balde is injured, and Barcelona's loanee Sergio Dest is also injured. So even when Dest comes back from his loan, he's hurt. And you also ask the question: well, would Dest would have been a better option than Cancelo? Should Barcelona had just kept Dest over Cancelo? Well, I think as an American who also watches American soccer, Dest would not have been that much different than Cancelo in the sense that Dest also sometimes is a liability on defense, but he's not as much as a liability on defense. Dest can play some defense. He's a solid defender. He's not a great defender. Make that clear. He's not a great defender, but he's a solid defender. He is very, very fast, so you can rely on him to be that defender who's getting, into the attacking positions and getting off those good passes. Dest's biggest issue is his maturity. Dest has a habit of getting some of the dumbest yellow cards and dumbest red cards because, he mouths off a lot. Something will happen, someone will flop near him and he'll get a yellow card. And instead of just being like, whatever, throw his hands up and then, go about the day, he starts just mouthing off at the ref, and refs are just like, you're not going to shut up. I'm just going to get out the card. And that happened in I don't know if it's a friendly for USA or like a competition game where, he got a yellow card for something. I forgot what it was. It's like, I want to say a year ago. And he just kept mouthing off. You see teammates going towards him, telling him, hey, chill out, shut up. Like, just multiple teammates from USA telling him to just calm down. He's yelling at his teammates, pushing him away to keep yelling at the referee, and the referee just like, all right, my dude, and you got a red card. So that's Dest. His mentality, his immaturity is kind of his biggest flaw. So again, you go back to that problem of what's the answer at fullback for Barcelona? Because Joao Cancelo isn't it. Balde is good, but he's injured. Dest has a maturity problem. What's the answer there? You pass up on Grimaldo, who's having a good season. People go, well, Barcelona doesn't have money. Sure, they don't have enough money to make a like major signings, but they have enough money to do something. And even when it comes to the money, according to reports, that Nike has decided to have a little conversation with Barcelona. They had a meeting with John Laporta a few days ago, and supposedly that deal with Nike, which hasn't been signed or confirmed or anything like that, but supposedly the potential of that deal could wipe away a huge amount of Barcelona's debt to where they would have more money. They will be out of the woods, and it'll be over time, but they will be out of the woods. And so when it comes to the immediate future, getting that money to have a better defense would come from the potential of, basically not keeping both Joaos. You might have to let both of them go because both of them will probably cost 25 million each. I don't think Cancelo, who turns 30 this year, is worth 25 million, and Joao Felix, I think, according to Atletico Madrid think he's staying. Atletico Madrid was the president of Atletico was in an interview, and he spoke of Joao Felix in like a past tense way where he kind of just thinks that Joao is going to stay Barcelona. So maybe there's like been some talks involving Laporta and Atletico Madrid where it's like they kind of already have like a in principle idea down when it comes to Felix. But outside of that, where does money come from? There's been rumors that the Saudi leagues would offer 100 million for Rafinha. If that's the case, I think Rafinha's a good player, but if they're offering 100 million for Rafinha, you take that. Like, honestly, in my opinion. Again, I don't know if if it's true or not. It's just a report. If that's something that's being offered for Rafinha, I think you take it. He's a good player, but 100 million is 100 million. Especially when you're a team like Barcelona who needs to fix its team. That 100 million can help you a lot when it comes to the fact that you need some fullbacks. It will help you out when it comes to the fact that you need an actual partner for Ronald Araujo, who also has a maturity problem. Araujo be getting some dumb fouls. So Barcelona has some issues when it comes to that back line, and it needs to be repaired. And this team can't get better until they do that. When it comes to the midfield, there's promising things in the midfield when it comes to the young players. The issue for the midfield is generally health. The midfield is always getting hurt, whether it's Pedri getting hurt or again, Frankie de Jong has gotten hurt. Again, it's his third ankle injury on the same ankle. And that has opened the door for, once again, we go through this every year. Every year we go through, will Frankie de Jong leave Barcelona when it comes to the transfers? And Bayern are interested, Man United are interested. If I'm Barcelona, I'm listening. I'm just being honest. I love Frankie de Jong. Watch my live streams on Twitch. I am a very, very big Frankie de Jong guy. But when it comes to this is a general comment in sports. I've been involved in sports for my entire life. My grandfather played professional football in the NFL. I grew up around football, and I grew up around it. The saying that exists in sports where the best ability is availability. Frankie de Jong is barely available because he's constantly injured. If you can cash in on him and get like 60 million for him, or even more than that, I say you listen to those offers, because it's like, hey, he keeps getting hurt. Let that be someone else's issue. It's like, take the money, either let someone else be his replacement, one of the younger team's replacement, or use that money to get someone else. There's so many rumors going on with this team when it comes to making like budget choices. For example, one of the forward options that's been a budget choice that's been rumored is Paulo Dybala. Dybala, again, it's much like how every single year we have a Frankie de Jong rumor. Every single year we have a Dybala rumor. This has been a thing for years, like 4 years. Dybala has always been, a constant rumor to Barcelona. The thought process this year is that he will be cheaper than any other potential forward for the team could target. People view him as kind of like a stopgap or bridge, where it's like you just need someone who you're going to sign for like a year or two until you can actually afford, a real potential star at that position. Because right now, when it comes to Barcelona's and forwards, people kind of view them as someone who just needs some star power. The team kind of, if you like, the team lacks star power. You could say Lewandowski is a star, but like I wouldn't necessarily say Lewandowski is in that superstar category as a Ronaldo or a Messi or a Mbappe or a Haaland, and people like that. He's a good player and he's up there in age, obviously. But when it comes to star power, I wouldn't say he is there. So that's potentially what's going on in Barcelona. Who knows what else will be coming out. Supposedly they're interested in Williams from Bilbao, but apparently that's a deal that they're thinking of trying to trigger in 2025, not this coming transfer window. So that's not something to look forward to for the next season. Supposedly, also they're looking at Haaland as well when it comes to his contract ending. Again, that's gonna cost a lot of money. That's supposedly Laporte has already met with Haaland's dad to talk about it, about a potential deal in I think like 2025, 2026. I don't know when his Man City deal ends. Who knows? It all comes down to who they sell, who they keep, and what money they can pull in when it comes to the future. 2024 probably won't be exciting, but something must be known in 2025 and 2026 for them to feel like they have confidence in trying to target people like a Haaland. The other thing I will mention is the presidential elections, I think, are like next year or in 2026. So Laporta has a lot of reasons to name drop certain players as targets, because if he name drops those people as targets, then all the callers who are going to be voting are going to be like, oh, he's talking about Haaland and these other players. We should, keep Laporta as the president. And personally, I would say it would be a better decision to keep Laporta as president than move on to someone else, because generally the team does have a habit of getting better under Laporta. So, there's that. So the next thing to mention, it again goes back to the team making money. One of our young players, Faye, I think is it Mikaela? I don't know how to pronounce his first name. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm an ignorant American. But Faye has interest in Liverpool. He has interest in Man United. I think Bayern's also interested in him as well. I think there's some other teams who are interested in him. I think right now the going rate will be between 25 to 35 million for him, because people look at him as being, the next top center back. Again, Barcelona could use a center back to partner next to Araujo. So I would say Barcelona should keep him. But again, when it comes to money, do you want to just take that money, and maybe revisit, him down the road, which is something Barcelona has done before, where they'll let a young player leave and then get them back, years later. They did it with Fabregas. Fabregas was a La Mesa kid. He played Barcelona, then they sent him to the Premier League. Did it with Hector Bellerin, and then he came back. They did it with I'm trying to think. They did it with a few players, but did it with Eric Garcia recently. The Eric Garcia experiment, where they let Eric Garcia leave. He went to Man City, and then he came back. Then they put him on loan. So like Barcelona has a habit of doing that, where they let their players leave, then bring them back. So they could see Faye in the same way, where it's like, sure, we'll take the 25 to 35 million for him, send him to the Premier League, and then 2 or 3 years bring him back. Or should they just keep him and play him next to Araujo? Christensen's doing fine, but you don't really view Christensen as an everyday center back when it comes to like your starting rotation. You could have him on a rotation with Faye, just to keep them both fresh. So, to wrap this video up, because it is almost 20 minutes long, I don't know what's next for this team. I don't know what we could look forward to. I don't feel like, because the Barcelona's in a weird spot right now, where it's like, you watch them play and it looks like they can compete with anybody. And then, but at the same time, you watch them play and you're like, Jesus Christ, this defense. And you just feel bad for the offense. You just feel bad for the this team will lose every game by 5 goals, not for Ter Stegen. Like, just being honest here. Dude's insane. Dude's phenomenal. One of the best in the world. And he just doesn't have any help from his teammates. Yeah, the referees fucked up in the hand of Real Madrid. But again, you can't just keep looking to the referees as an excuse. It's the players. The players need to be playing better defense. Even Kude had some moments in that Real Madrid game where it's like, oh, it got to be better on defense right there. I think he's the one who gave up the Bellingham goal at the end. But as for Xavi, we mentioned we're going to talk about Xavi, and that's the perfect person to end this video on. Right now, there's multiple reports that Xavi is considering staying. Supposedly, he had a meeting with Laporta, and he made some demands, I guess you can say, where he basically just wants certain guarantees, then he'll stay, at least for one more season. Those guarantees are basically just the ability to sign better players. That's kind of what he wants. He wants to be able to sign better players. He wants Laporta to guarantee he can sign certain players. And who knows, what Laporta said in response. Again, it's just a rumor. We don't actually know if that's what Xavi said. The rumor is Xavi wants some guarantees. The other report is his replacements. So Barcelona kind of, decided no to majority of the people who fans thought will be appointed, because a lot of those people, Barcelona doesn't view as ready for the job. The person who's being rumored as the actual choice is Rafa Marquez, the Mexican legend, Barcelona icon, Marc Marquez, who's currently in charge of like the Barca B team, and he's been doing decent. And I think most fans will be okay with him replacing Xavi if that's the situation. And it also just makes sense from like a standpoint of bringing in someone who knows the players, because again, he's there, So it's like he knows Pedri, he knows Lopez, he knows Garbassi, he knows Lamine Yamal, he knows all the young players. So it's like if you bring someone else in, they have to figure out a way to work out with these new players and continue using the massive talent, because the team is strapped for money. Whereas you bring in Rafa Marquez, it's like he knows these players already. He's already here. But here, what I'm hoping, I hope for the best. Obviously, I hope we can find the money to sign better players, because we're not far off. We're a team that I view as a team who's getting there. They're a team who's close. They're not close to being, a Champions League contender, but they're close enough to be, a perennial, semifinals team. They're close enough to be, second place in La Liga, and I think they can catch Real Madrid if they make the proper signings. Even like now, with the least amount of money that they have, it's just a matter of making the right decisions. If that's what Xavi, good. He's fucking Xavi. He's a master class when it comes to tactician, being a tactician when it comes to the lineups, things of that nature. And when it comes to Rafa Marquez, I'd be fine with him being in charge too. When it comes to everything else, Barcelona's biggest flaw outside of defense, outside of the immaturity of some players, is his medical staff. Barcelona's medical staff sucks. It needs to be redone. Fire everybody and get some people in there. Barcelona's medical staff is trash. That's what I'm in the video on. I'm being boy, News and Archer. Hope you all enjoy. Catch you guys next week. Y'all stay safe. Become another being boy. I'm out of here. Iska Varka. I'm out.